Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, as always, Jeff Malinoff, and with me is Mark Souza. We got a good number of baseball topics to talk about in the world of baseball. That made sense. I said baseball too many times. But anyways, continuing. We have Hall of Fame inductees officially. We have a unanimous Hall of Famer for the first time ever in Mariano Rivera, which we will discuss. And also a topic of discussion is, in the steroid era, do those players that dominated that era deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? And other things that need to be talked about will be said. But first, we need to talk about the Hall of Famers that are officially in this year. And for the first time ever, a 100% voting, unanimous vote for Mariano Rivera to be in the Hall of Fame. He's the first person ever to get 100%.
Which seems absolutely ridiculous.
Yes, because that means when the first, in the 83 years since they've done this, 1936, there's been, like, Babe Ruth is in the first ballot. He wasn't unanimously voted. There were 11 guys that said no.
Maybe he didn't hit enough home runs.
715, the most. That wasn't broken.
I mean, why wouldn't he get voted in by everybody?
I don't think it wasn't broken until 40 years later.
To some people, Jeff, he didn't do enough on the baseball diamond. I'm speculating he didn't hit enough home runs for them. Maybe he didn't steal enough bases. Maybe he didn't pitch enough perfect games. I don't know. What did he do?
Just the most iconic name in baseball history.
Who the hell was like Babe Ruth? No, not for me. Not a Hall of Famer.
Okay, thank God you're laughing. Because I was about to smack you.
No, but I mean, who said that? What writer was sitting there like, he was like this? Yep, Hall of Famer. Yeah, Hall of Famer. Who are the other names on that ballot, by the way?
I'll look it up.
Look it up, because he was like, oh, yeah, Jimmy Jenkins. Yep. Hector Olivares. Yep. Babe Ruth, no, he didn't do enough.
They just skipped over his name like it's nothing.
I just want to know who those people voted for if they didn't vote for him.
Okay.
Can you imagine Michael Jordan not being a first ballot Hall of Famer?
The inductees included Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Honest Wagner.
Okay.
And the others are like Walter Johnson.
Oh, yeah, pitcher, national. Or
Christy
they
Matthews.
were the Washington. What were they? Not the Senators? I think
they were the Washington Senators back then.
Yeah, the Senators.
And also Christy Mathewson.
Those are some freaking phenomenal names.
Well, it's the first ballot.
That's
so
like an incredible
legends.
ballot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, too, who didn't vote for me? Some of those guys didn't get voted. I mean, all of those guys didn't get in unanimously. So even Ty Cobb didn't get in.
And also someone said Honest Wagner was like, no.
Ty Cobb I could understand, though, because he pissed a lot of people off, though. He was
Ty Cobb was not a nice person.
He was
supposedly.
Oh, no. I don't think it's supposedly. That dude definitely.
I'm not going to bash him.
What do you mean? He got into a lot of crap.
I know.
He got into fights. Players hated him. Managers hate him. It's well documented. I mean, we weren't there. It was well before our time, but that dude was a real piece of work.
And his rivalry with Sam Crawford speaks for itself.
That dude's a real piece of work. Is he a great baseball player? Absolutely.
Yeah, he deserves to be there.
Absolutely.
But it's really, truly amazing how these guys were not unanimously inducted when they had the careers they did.
Uh-huh.
But also, there's also a couple of guys we also are saying did not get the Hall of Fame. Like Willie Mays. Or even, there's one guy that I think should have been unanimously voted because he's probably the most influential, inspirational player in MLB history, and that's Jackie Robinson, because everyone has his number retired. No one's allowed to wear that number anymore, except for one day everyone wears his number, and that guy wasn't unanimously voted in.
But I understand why Jackie Robinson wasn't voted in 100%.
Hesitant?
No, racism.
No, that's what I meant. Hesitant due to racism.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was still a time where
It was in the 60s.
There was some people that were still uncomfortable
Explain
with it.
Ted Williams.
The 60s was the civil rights era.
Yeah,
so, like,
true.
if we think about the history of this country, it took until the 60s until, people of color actually became real citizens of this country, without, it took that long.
Yeah.
And and still today.
Let's not get political.
No, we're not getting political. It's just history.
I know.
That makes sense that Jackie Robinson was 100% because all it takes is one or two people to be like, I don't like that kind of person.
It's really like if it was like, but again, he is the most influential player,
but back to
inspirational
Babe
player in
Ruth,
baseball.
Who the heck wasn't voting for these guys for what they didn't do anything?
Okay, how about Ted Williams? How is he not? How is Willie Mays?
Ted Williams couldn't hit a curve.
Was Willie Mays was around that time also? That's
Willie
why
Mays didn't look. He was good at everything, but he wasn't great.
And we say that because he was great at everything.
I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah,
Who else? I got one for every single person.
Okay, Sandy Koufax.
Couldn't throw with his right hand.
Yes, they're racist towards lefties now.
Who else? Sandy
Koufax isn't the most infamous pitcher of all time.
Maybe a voter out there is like, you know what? Don't prefer that type of pitcher.
Lou Gehrig. Explain that one.
Retired too young. Okay, that's really mean. All right.
Oh my God. Okay. Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron.
700.
It's the same thing with Jackie Robinson.
Okay. No, he played in the 70s.
Yeah, but
That was afterwards.
Man. Remember all the hate mail he got?
Yeah, but that's like
you better not break Babe Ruth's record.
He retired. Everyone was like all happy when he did it, though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
but then he retired, and then you wait like that extensive period of time.
It's still what?
It's not like
when did he get voted in? What year was it?
I will look.
That makes a difference because I see what you're saying. The world has changed then, but there were still people with their
his induction was in 1982.
Okay, so less on that aspect, but you're right. I don't know. Maybe they didn't.
There's no excuse for that.
Maybe
one,
they
in
didn't
my
like
opinion.
the way he positioned his hands when he batted.
You mean the opposite way you're supposed to?
That's all I can think of, Jeff. I don't know. I actually don't understand.
He played for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He played for the Milwaukee Braves, but they moved to Atlanta during his tenure.
And then he went back.
Okay.
Yeah, when they had a new franchise.
Yeah. I still can't believe that's a name, Brewers. They're Milwaukee Beers. They're you know that basketball. You know that basketball movie?
Yeah.
Milwaukee Beers.
Yeah.
That's based off. Yeah, it's amazing.
Basketball's a great movie.
Okay, let's think of more players to name that you can think of that can't get in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, it's just we're making fun of
the fact that
ridiculousness of it all.
Exactly, but this is more fun. So let me think of others. So I already saw Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. I can't believe I'm naming these guys that were. Some people said no to these guys. Let's think about that for a second.
A lot of people, not just one.
Lou Gehrig's one of the most surprising because he had his own disease and like he was the most infamous goodbye. I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. No one hated Lou Gehrig, and yet some people thought no.
I mean, if Babe Ruth couldn't get in because Babe Ruth,
Ken Griffey Jr. didn't get unanimously voted in.
Yeah,
that was a ballot that was like there wasn't very a lot of starstruck players except for him.
It's actually a joke when you go down the list. We could do this all day because Mariano Rivera was the first one ever. So literally, if
everyone
you took the best 100 players to ever play the game, 99 of them were not first.
How
not
absurd
unanimous.
is that?
It's crazy.
We need names. We need to find out who said, especially like the 36 ballot. Who said no to Babe Ruth? Who said no to Ty Cobb?
Well, you know what? Now that there's transparency, now that they voted,
they're not anonymous anymore.
Now that it's not anonymous, now people have to be accountable, and that is obviously a good thing. Mariano Rivera getting 100% of the vote is a good thing because he should get 100% of the vote, right? Mariano Rivera is a Hall of Famer. Hands down, it's a lock. You don't have to look up his numbers, right?
No, absolutely not.
Like, if somebody told you Mariano Rivera is Hall of Famer, you're not going to ever be like, I don't know, man. Like, how many saves? You know, like, how many World Series? No, he's just a Hall of Famer. We all know it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it, right? So him getting 100% of the vote, I think, is a positive step in the right direction because
All right, I'll
some of these guys should be 100%.
Okay.
Ken Griffey should have been 100%.
True.
Willie Mays.
Okay,
100%.
let me. I'm going to list some other ones that are controversial in this stance, and this is like not guaranteed that this should have been unanimous, but like Bobby Cox.
I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
No, he's in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying
okay.
should have been unanimous. I'm naming Hall of Famers. Do you think they should have been unanimous?
Okay, so this is managers and players now.
Yes.
Okay.
Bobby Cox.
Yeah, absolutely.
Randy Johnson.
I think so.
Pedro Martinez. Should he have been in unanimous?
Pedro's I don't know. Yes, yes, he should be in, but I don't know if I would be upset if somebody
Here's
didn't
an
vote
interesting one, but I don't think he should have been unanimous, but Frank Thomas. He shouldn't have been unanimous.
Yeah, I don't think he deserves to be unanimous.
I would have my thoughts of should he even be in the Hall of Fame.
He
had a great career,
I think
but
he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
But it's not he shouldn't be unanimous.
And another shocking one. Joe Torre wasn't unanimous.
Yeah.
How many championships did he win? I can't even count.
How long did he coach for? That's the first thing that was the first question that was raised for me when you said his name.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and you want to hear a surprise?
Yeah.
Chipper Jones last year, he got 97% of the votes.
He's a definite unanimous. Because that dude won. That dude was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
he was.
And here's
maybe the best switch hitter of all time. One of them.
And actually, Ken Griffey Jr. was 99.3%. Granted.
Who was the guy?
Randy Johnson was 97. Pedro was 91.
Jeff, imagine being in a room of 100 people and one person said, "I'm not voting for Ken Griffey Jr. for the Hall of Fame."
Slapped him in the face. But Vladimir Guerrero had 92.9%, which is kind of shocking, but I understand. It's not anonymous anymore. But let's look. I'm going to go all the way down to 1936 and see what the percentage was for Babe Ruth. He was 95%. There was 11 guys that said no. Same with Honest Wagner. Ty Cobb got 98.2%. Ty Cobb. Oh my God, we forgot about Cy Young. There's an award named after him. That's
he couldn't hit well enough.
Guess what his percentage was?
85.
76.
Wow.
That's absurd. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's absurd. Lou Gehrig was in 39. I don't know if he was alive then, but the closest was the first inductee of Ty Cobb, 98%. Then no one reached above 90 from the baseballreference.com says until, let's say, 1963. 1962 with Bob Feller. He had 93%.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Williams got a 93.4% in 1966.
All right. So what about?
But he was snubbed in 1962.
Let's talk about the other guys who got voted in.
Okay, we can do that. We have Roy Halladay, who passed away 2 years ago in 2017 in that plane accident.
Very tragic.
Very tragic. We also have Edgar Martinez in his final.
This was Halladay's first time, right?
Yes.
I think it was the first time on the ballot, if I remember correctly.
I believe so as well.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also Edgar Martinez, who is in his final eligibility, if I remember that correctly. There's also Mike Mussina.
Yes, the Moose.
Yes. There's one more that says on here on the website, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. But Harold Baines.
Yeah, he was voted in what's that? Remember, he got voted in like.
There's a different voting. There's a veterans vote.
Yeah, Harold Baines and Lee Smith got put in.
Mm-hmm. There's the veterans vote and then the BBWAA.
I don't think Harold Baines should have been in.
But it's the veterans that voted for him. So
I hate saying like somebody shouldn't get in. Like I feel like a jerk for saying it, but I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. I really don't.
Okay.
But let's go back to Halladay.
Yes. He did pass away tragically.
What would you say? Is Halladay a Hall of Famer?
He did throw a no-hitter in the postseason, which was historical, and he had an amazing career. So yes, I say yes.
Okay. What was his career?
He led the league in wins in 2003. He led the league in a win-loss percentage in 2006. He led the league in games started in 2003 as well, counting his wins.
He had a perfect game. He led the league in wins twice. He Cy Young twice, 8-time All-Star. Pitched a postseason no-hitter.
He's won. He's been in the All-Star game since 2002. He's been at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. He's won the Cy Young multiple times.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
2 Cy Youngs, wins leader twice, 8-time All-Star.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. He led the he's led the league in multiple years in different categories.
He got 85% of the vote.
Yes, he did.
All right. Musina.
Yes, the Moose, you say.
Yep. What do you think about him?
Yeah. He played for a long time. He played since 91.
He also has like 287 wins.
Yes.
Which is a ton of wins.
He has 270.
270, yes. That's
which
a ton
is
of
very
wins.
impressive. His lifetime percentage in win-losses is 638, which is impressive.
He got in more of his longevity, right?
His career ERA is 3.68. In that span, over 10
because he was
years.
never like Halladay. You could say was the best pitcher in baseball for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Musina was
consistent.
ever the best pitcher in baseball,
but he was just consistently good.
right? Because Musina pitched. I mean, against like Greg Maddux, Pedro Martinez, like Randy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He was never like a big name like that. Like in terms of, his name didn't carry the weight like some of those guys. But
yeah.
I think it's the longevity factor. You won 270 games. Like you had 2,800 strikeouts. You were
He's a 7-time Gold Glove.
Yeah,
you're about to say that.
Gold Glove.
5-time All-Star.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He is.
I mean, 270 wins speaks
I think
for
the
itself.
one that's the most controversial, I think we can all agree, is Edgar Martinez. It was the last time that he was on the ballot. He had to get in.
Do you agree or not?
Without looking up the numbers,
I will tell you the numbers
I don't
afterwards.
think he should have been. Without looking up the numbers, I don't see him. Because, look, I hold designated hitters to a higher standard. If you're going to make it as a hitter...
He also played third base, just like...
Yeah, but he was mostly a designated hitter, right?
True. But I'm just saying.
I know, but he was a designated hitter.
Mm-hmm. But he played in 1987 all the way to 2004.
Right.
That's crazy.
His career batting average is .312. He has 309 home runs, 1,200 RBIs, 7-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger, AL RBI leader once, 2-time batting champion.
And a career batting average over 300 in that span is insane.
It's pretty good. I don't know. That one's tough for me, man. I feel like my opinion is reflective of the voting. He got in on the last chance, Like, it took him a long time to get in.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, okay. I get it.
What do you think? You think he's for sure Hall of
I've
Famer?
always been a fan of his, so yeah. If over a 300 batting average in his span since 87 to 2004 is ridiculous to me. So, yes, I agree that he should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Do you remember that awesome Mariners team that didn't win?
The 2001 team with 116 wins?
What team was it where they had Griffey, they had Jay Buhner?
2001.
Yeah.
They had also Ichiro in his rookie year win the MVP and Rookie of the Year.
How do they not win?
The Yankees.
I know.
The quote, damn Yankees. But yeah, they had that was the most wins by any team in history.
Can we agree that transparency in voting has made this process 100 times better?
So there's no grudges, you mean?
Yeah, because we all know why those other guys didn't get put in.
Yeah.
It's all biases, right? It's like, oh, I'm from New York. I don't like Ted Williams.
Yeah,
or I'm from Boston. I don't want to vote for Babe Ruth.
You can't be petty.
Because nobody wanted to be the guy that didn't vote for Mariano Rivera. None of these writers did. And if you did, if you were going to be the guy, you knew you'd be scrutinized for it. Whereas in the past, it was all anonymous. It's all anonymous. You don't have to put your name on it. It's like a suggestion box at work, Where you write in, like, maybe we should have some free food around here, Like some passive-aggressive stuff, right?
Order pizza and talk about it.
Like, this place is okay, but it'd be like 5 times better if we could listen to music. I don't know.
What are you talking about right now?
Like posting something anonymously, like it's a suggestion box. It's
I guess
it's a Reddit thread, you know? Like there's nothing.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. Transparency is good. Mariano Rivera getting 100% of the votes is really good because now I think
There'll be more.
yeah, absolutely. I think Derek Jeter will be 100% voted in next year.
Well, from his swan song that happened,
I don't believe he should be 100%, but I think he will be 100%.
why don't you think so?
Because Derek Jeter is a very inflated athlete. Was he a great player? Absolutely. Is he a Hall of Famer? He probably is. I won't argue against that. But people talk about Derek Jeter like he's one of the top 15, 20 baseball players of all time. He's not. Can we be real about that?
That is a controversial thing to say, but I agree with you. He's been one of the most successful.
He's overinflated, though. Like, he's known for making some great plays, but he's not known for not being the best defender. Like, he's not the best defensive shortstop.
He just has iconic plays.
He
that will live
does.
forever.
He has the play against the A's. He has throwing the ball from the hole off of 1 foot.
He also has the home run that shouldn't have been a home run, but we won't
catching
get
the
into
ball
that.
in the crowd. The play against the A's where he cuts it off and tosses it to home, and they get what's his name?
I believe
out?
Giambi.
Yeah, Jeremy Giambi, right? Was
Yeah,
it Jeremy?
it wasn't Jason Giambi.
So it's like he has these iconic plays. Plus, he was a captain. Plus, he could hit the ball a little bit. He's played in a lot of big games.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's not on the tiers like Mariano Rivera, you know?
Mm-hmm. True.
But whatever. Anyways, let's go to a break. When we come back, let's talk about some other guys who might never get in. The steroid guys, quote unquote. You know, the guys who are not in because of allegations about the past. True or not, that's the reason why they're not in. We'll break down those players. We'll talk about if they'll ever get in. And we're going to honor somebody who everybody called an idiot, a kook, a jerk. But he was right. And we will take the moment to give him his credit where it's due. We'll do that when we return.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back, all you baseball fans, to the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And now we talk about players in the steroid era who maybe should or should not be in the Hall of Fame. And I think we need to talk about the first guy. I think this first guy needs to be Barry Bonds.
We do.
Because he is the all-time leader in home runs. But people are like still refusing to
Where was
accept
he on
that.
where was he on the percentage?
I believe he was at 57 last time I checked.
Look those up real quick. Let's
I will
see
double
where
check, but
him and Clemens are at. By the way, while you look it up, I'll go ahead and give that credit where it's due right now. And the person that I'm talking about is Jose Canseco.
Yes.
Now, if you guys remember correctly, Jose Canseco, when he named names about players, what was the book that came out? It was the book where he called out all the people.
I don't remember. I'll look at that up.
Regardless, it's not really that important. The important thing here is that when news came out that he was naming names, everybody said, "Oh, he can't trust this guy."
I think it's called Vindicated.
Yes,
or
it is.
Juiced.
I think it's
Wild Times.
Vindicated.
He has multiple books. Was it 2005 or 2008?
Juiced is the one. Vindicated came afterwards, right? Because then they talk about
Vindicated is 08. Juiced is 05.
Yes. So when Juiced came out, the story was you can't trust Jose Canseco. He's a kook. He's crazy. He's a liar.
And then he made a book trolling everybody.
He's a steroid user. He's just trying to bring everybody down with them. Blah, blah, blah. Look, man. He named 6 players, and they were all in the Mitchell Report. And that's why he put out Vindicated, obviously, But the thing is that everybody buried this dude. Everybody just...
He was on the MLB blacklist. That's for sure.
Everybody just blackballed him.
Barry Bonds.
He was right. Like, he was absolutely right. So that's what I'm saying. We got to give him credit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that he's a good guy. I'm just saying, like, he was telling the truth. Like, he was actually telling the truth. And everybody was like, oh, you can't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, he is vindicated, just like his second book says. Anyways, let's go back to these players. Did you look at those numbers?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's talk about
And
them.
you need a 75%, I believe, to be in. And
Is it 75?
I think it's
What did Bonds get?
Bonds got 59.1.
Right, it is 75 because I know that he was a little bit over 15% off. Okay.
And Roger Clemens got 59.5%.
Wait, so Clemens actually got a little bit higher?
A little bit higher.
Huh, that was the other way around.
I thought it was too, but I guess I'm wrong. And Sammy Sosa was also in this. You want to hear his percentage?
What is it?
8.5. Pretty devastating for him. But I don't.
That's really low.
But I mean, he only had a couple years of stardom. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Are they ever going to get in?
Sammy, no. Roger,
Sammy's for sure not.
he only got 36 votes. You need a 319 required votes, and Bonds got 251, and Clemens got 253. Kurt Schilling was only one above them. They got as well at 259. He got 60% of the votes, but that he wasn't part of that steroid.
How
era.
How much percentage?
Kurt Schilling got 60.
Kurt Schilling says that he's not being voted in because of politics, his personal politics, because him being like a hardcore conservative, I guess some people don't like him personally because of his views on things, and he's being wrongfully kept out.
We don't know what these voters are thinking.
There might be something to that. But the fact of the matter is, Jeff, these are people voting. And if you rub people the wrong way, Kurt Schilling has been known to be kind of a rigid guy. Like, he's kind of a hard guy to deal with. If you rub these people the wrong way, maybe you're not in. You got to remember, too, these are all writers.
Very true.
These are all journalists. So what happens when you cover a team and a guy is kind of a jerk to you? Or
You're going to hold a grudge.
It's just human nature, right?
This was also like the two top voters, Rivera and Holiday, where this was their first year on the ballot.
Also, we have to understand that the transparency of now the voting makes it easier. It makes it better in terms of this. So if Kurt Schilling really is being, I don't know, wrongly affected by some non-baseball stuff, then maybe we'll know who those people are and maybe what their prerogative is, right?
Yes.
So,
but we do know that Bonds and Clemens are getting closer, and they still have 3 more years of eligibility, so we will find out what happens there. But can I read you the players receiving less than 5% of the votes because they are dropped out of Hall of Fame ballots in the future?
go ahead.
Michael Young,
Yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer.
2.1%. Lance Bergman, 1.2. Miguel Tejada, 1.2. Roy Oswald, 0.9. And the rest, or there's almost, no, yeah, the rest I see here received 0 votes. Kevin Youkilis, Vernon Wells, Juan Pierre, Darren Oliver, Derek Lowe, Ted Lilly, let's see, Joe Garland, Freddie Garcia, Jason Bay, which is actually kind of surprising me. And then the others, they don't just, yeah. But yeah, there were a lot of players that received zero votes, which kind of hurts.
I don't think any of those players that you named are Hall of Famers, to be honest with you. So I'm not, whatever.
I just thought I'd bring them up as well. But there is one guy that had his final year of eligibility and did not get in, and that was Fred McGriff.
Fred McGriff, I think, should have gone in.
He only had 39% of the votes. He is no longer eligible.
I don't know, man. Fred McGriff, I thought, was a great baseball player, and I think he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. What about you? Do you think? Plus, he had a great nickname, the Crime Dog.
I would put him in just for his nickname. Others that are like Amy.
So let me tell you this.
Okay.
Fred McGriff.
Mm-hmm.
He played for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
5-time All-Star, World Series champion, 3-time Silver Slugger Award, 2-time home run leader.
2-time home run leader.
Yeah. He finishes with 7 home runs short of 500. 284 average, 1,550 runs batted in. So he had better offensive numbers than Edgar Martinez.
I hate to say this.
He had better offensive numbers than Edgar Martinez.
I understand that, but I want to say this, and I think you might disagree with this, but the fact that he was a journeyman really hurts.
Maybe, but his numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, but he played for the Blue Jays, then the Padres, then the Braves, then the Devil Rays, then the Cubs, then the Dodgers, and back to the Devil Rays. You don't see a lot of journeymen in the Hall of Fame. I think that hurts him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he played for a couple different teams, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like,
I'm just pointing those out. I think that's
aren't there other players that are in the Hall of Fame that played for a bunch of teams? How many teams did Mike Piazza play for?
I'll look at
Dodgers, Mets. I can't remember.
I think that's the only 2.
Is it?
I don't remember him being a journeyman. When I was younger, I always thought his name was Pizza. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, he played for the Marlins, the Mets, the Padres, and the A's.
It's a lot of teams.
Yeah, but he had before, like, at the end of his career, he went to 2 different teams. But, like, he was on the Mets for 7 years. He was on the Dodgers for 5 years. Like, it wasn't, like, short stints.
But for Fred McGriff, the last 3 teams he played for 1 year, you know?
That is what I think hurts.
But that's, like, kind of ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. You can play for all the teams in Major League Baseball, but if your numbers are good.
His longest stint was only 4 years for one team. And that's both the Blue Jays and the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's only 2 years.
He was a big part of that World Series winning team for the Braves.
I completely agree with you.
And a big part of the Braves in the 90s in general. Like, they made the World Series how many times? Like 3 times with Fred McGriff?
It was too many times to count because they kept losing to the Yankees. But
they lost to the Yankees once. They lost to the Blue Jays.
They lost more than once to the Yankees.
The Braves?
Yeah. In the World Series?
I think they just lost to them once. They beat the Indians. They lost to the Yankees. They lost to Toronto.
They lost to the Yankees twice. I know that.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to look this up now.
Anyways, Fred McGriff should have been in, man. I think he'll get in. After they.
Well, that was his last time.
Yeah, but like Harold Baines got in. What do they call that?
The veterans. I see what you're saying. They got swept. The Braves got swept by the Yankees in '99.
Yes, they did. They lost them in '95 or '96, so they did lose to them twice. But he wasn't a part of that team.
Yeah, but still, I'm just pointing out the facts. But I'm saying that these guys who are not on a team for a long period of time, like Piazza was on those on those 2 main teams, the Mets and the Dodgers, for a long time, over 5 years, and he was on there for less than 4 for 2 teams.
I honestly don't think any of that really hurts him. To be honest with you, I don't know.
I just point out it's hard to see a lot of journeymen in the Hall of Fame.
This guy almost hit 500 home runs.
Oh no, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just trying to think. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out.
I just
want to
know.
Reason.
I want to hear an argument why Edgar Martinez is a Hall of Famer, but Fred McGriff is not. Like, I'm ready for that argument.
Yeah, I can't.
And
really
if all you can say, or if all anyone can say is, well, he played with one team, like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna say that, and his batting average is better.
I'm not even gonna agree with myself on this. He was on the 2001 Mariners that had 116 wins.
That didn't win a World Series, though.
Yeah,
and McGriff played.
That's why I say I disagreed with myself.
Right. I know, but McGriff. I mean, we're talking about a dude who won a World Series. He was 7 home runs away from 500. Like, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
1,500. So he had 300 RBIs more than Edgar Martinez. He had like over 150 home runs over Edgar Martinez. His batting average is lower by about 25 points, which makes a difference. But still, McGriff was a power hitter, first baseman. So I don't know, man. And plus, Fred McGriff was a good defensive player. Do you remember him on the commercials? Do you remember the commercials in the 90s of the
I was born in 95, dude.
Okay, but do you remember the commercials in the 90s and in the early 2000s of the baseball like mechanics videos that you ordered and like it showed you how to defend, how to field, and he used to say, "This is the video that gets results." He was on there because he was one of the instructors. This is the video that gets results.
I don't remember this.
All right. Anyways,
You're talking,
we can move on.
You are barking up the wrong tree there, buddy.
Haha, get it?
Yeah. Anyways,
Crime dog
Yep.
Let's go back to the steroid guys. None of them are getting in until there's a shift in the voters' mentality. That's just the way it's going to be, right? There needs to be something needs to happen. Like, yeah, they cheated, but everybody cheated. 7 out of 10 baseball players from the steroid era don't believe that steroids should keep players out.
No, of course not.
But we're talking about amongst their peers. So they all knew that everybody was cheating. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I will say, however, that when you look at like Babe Ruth in that era, why are they looked at so highly touted when they played against they couldn't play against black players that could have been easily more talented than the white players they were playing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not even saying that as a joke. I'm saying that as a fact. Jackie Robinson, when he came in, he was so much different than the other players. Not just skin color, based on athleticism and his way to hit the ball. His stealing was top-notch. His defending was amazing. He was arguably the best player in the major leagues at that time.
Yeah.
So why can we not think that a player in the Negro League from that time era could have struck Babe Ruth out more times than he hit home runs? Guarantee you wouldn't be smoking cigars and eating whatever it was in the dugout.
You could be doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I don't know. So do you think Bonds will get in?
I believe so, because 762 home runs,
But how will he
all-time
get in?
record.
Will he get voted in before his 10th time is up? Because he only has 3 chances left, I believe.
I think he's going to get in by veterans.
Yeah, because his peers will vote him in like down the road, right?
Yeah.
Like people who, let's be honest, the older generation doesn't want to vote in steroid players. Like that's just a thing.
But their peers will vote them in.
I mean, this not trying to sound insensitive, but as the years go on, those people will not be voting any longer, and there will be younger voters.
Just say it.
No, there will be younger voters, and I don't think people care that much. I don't care. Do you care? Like, do you think Barry Bonds is a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
We're younger than most of the writers.
All of the writers.
Yeah, I don't know who the youngest one is, but I'll just say most.
I doubt one of them is 23.
Well, I'm also older than you, so
Okay,
I said both of us.
33, maybe.
I don't know. They're all probably older than us, but maybe 1 or 2 aren't. I don't know. But regardless, the point is, people our age, people our generation do not care that much because we all kind of agree that everybody was juiced. Like everybody was doing it. So does it make it right?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
but
orange
it just makes
juice,
it
apple juice, pineapple juice.
It doesn't make it right. But everybody was accomplices in all this. Like, was anybody mad in the 90s when Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire hitting home runs and they were trying to outdo each other and it was like a race to the moon? And like, you think Bud Selig was like, oh, something's going on here. All these guys are just jacking home runs.
No, because he was trying to do something about it.
No, he wasn't. Not until the ratings were through the roof. Baseball.
Not
that
at
was
that
like,
time, but later on.
Baseball. That was like baseball's golden era. Was like the late 90s, early 2000s. Home run. Chicks dig the long ball. Like, what else do we got to say? Like, it really was the golden era in baseball. Yes, you were a little bit young for this, but everybody was.
I remember that time.
I mean, if you were born in 95, then you probably really don't remember it. But I mean,
2000, 2001 is usually.
But I mean, you don't remember. Like, I grew up watching baseball in the early 90s, right? So, like, I remember, like, Greg Maddux was, like, my favorite player when I was a kid, okay?
Barry Bonds was my favorite player when I was a kid.
But then there was, I remember when there was definitely a shift from, like, pitching to home run hitting. Like, there was, like, definitely, okay, the game has changed. Like, basketball as we know it today is not basketball as we know it in the 90s, right? Now everybody's shooting threes. Everybody's playing fast. It's not the same game, right?
Yeah.
Whereas that sort of happened in baseball on a different level. I get it. It's a different sport. But All of a sudden it was long ball, home run, home run. People knew. Like, people knew something was going on, Jeff. It wasn't like all of a sudden these guys could just, like, were hitting the weights in the offseason. Like, come on, man. Like, everybody knew there was something behind the scenes going on.
Just look at Barry Bonds from the 90s and look at him in
Brady
the 2000s.
Anderson. Look at Brady Anderson. Do you remember Brady Anderson?
He looks like he added like 50 pounds of muscle.
Do you remember
right?
Brady Anderson?
Yeah, he was in that steroid era, obviously. But he wasn't as known as like Sammy Sosa and all of those other guys. He couldn't keep up with them.
He couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up with him, but he was like the.
You mean the body modifications? Modifications.
What's a mortification?
It's a Mortal Kombat. I don't know.
Brady Anderson, the center fielder, he used to play for the Orioles, and he all of a sudden was, I don't know, a home run hitter overnight. Like, the dude.
One of the top searches in like Google, I remember, like, is his before and after pictures when he was starting, and then all of a sudden he becomes The Rock.
Without looking up the numbers,
like,
I believe he went from like 9 homers to like 50, like in 1 year. Like,
yeah.
It was insane. It was almost as big of a difference as like what Jose Bautista's career happened.
And you can even look at Sammy Sosa when he was starting with the Cubs and when he got from the Texas Rangers. And my God, his arms just tripled in size.
All right, let me read this to you.
But I think Barry Bonds is the most infamous one.
This has got to be the most. This is the craziest season I've ever seen in the history of baseball. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. These are the home run totals for Brady Anderson's career. All right, you ready? 1, 4, 3, 2, 21. It's a big one.
2 to 21 is impressive.
13, 12, 16. Get ready for it. 50. 18, 24, 19, 8, and 1. You think he was juicing in 96? I think he was. He hit 50 homers. You know how many RBIs he had? 110. The next highest he ever had was 80.
Maybe he just was feeling it that year.
Dude.
I'm kidding. Obviously, there was something wrong.
His batting average is 297. His career batting average is 256.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, he's not the only one. But like to go
That's
back,
the biggest change statistic. Statistically, yes.
To go back to the point, like, dude, everybody knew what was going on, Jeff. Everybody's living in ignorance.
Living La Vida Mocha.
But they knew. Like, people knew. Bud Selig knew. Everybody knew. And I think based on that, those steroid players should get in because they weren't the only ones. They were just really good naturally, and their performances were enhanced. Am I condoning it? No. People shouldn't be able to do that. Like, there's a reason why those things are banned. But they don't test then like they do now. So the criteria is different, right? Like,
yeah, I would say so.
All right, we got to go to break.
Okay, sure. When we get back,
we'll talk about some players that have signed, not the big names, obviously, but we'll talk about some low-key signings to see if they're important or not, and also a trade from the Yankees.
Yes, we'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, our final segment. We are finishing talking about the Hall of Fame. Now we're going into stuff that's actually happening in today's baseball.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
We have, the Yankees got rid of Sonny Gray, and he's off to the Reds now for some prospects. I believe one of them was the number 7
That was a
prospect.
failed experiment.
What, Sonny Gray?
Signing Sonny Gray.
Well, I mean, they have the money where they just pay for everyone and just say, that one doesn't work. Get rid of that one. That's been their MO for years.
Yep. They are the evil empire, aren't they?
They are the Patriots of the MLB. But
yeah, maybe the Red Sox are the Patriots of the MLB now.
Actually, it's a good point.
That's unfortunate for the rest of the world.
Yeah, but the thing is with the Yankees is I hate to say that there's nothing you compare them to in the NFL, so I have to compare it to another MLB team. They are the East Coast Dodgers, where they just pay billions of dollars for players to get better.
Sonny Gray. What do you think about him going to the Reds?
The Reds are really stacking some players up that are questionable, to say the least. Puig, I get. He still has a lot of left in him. Matt Kemp, I don't know about.
He had a good year last year.
Yeah, but ever since when he left the Dodgers, he was not the same. So I feel like it was just the Dodgers itself.
He's getting back to his old form. He lost some weight. He looks really good, man.
Yeah, I'm holding off I'm gonna have optimism about him.
You gotta give him credit though. He looks like he really changed. Like he really has focused on getting back to an elite level.
Absolutely.
He looks different. Like he looks trim. He looks strong.
Hopefully that wasn't diminished, or his motivation wasn't diminished going to the Reds.
Yasiel Puig. I bet he's happy to go to Cincinnati. Gosh, I bet he's upset.
Wait, what?
Can you imagine?
You said
living
he's hell
in Los Angeles?
You didn't say it in a sarcastic tone, is what I'm saying.
No, I definitely said it in a sarcastic tone.
It didn't really sound sarcastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew what you were saying, yes. Puig goes from the face of the L.A. Dodgers, the most profitable team in the MLB, arguably.
Not even that, but just living in L.A.
Yeah, and being a superstar, to going to the Cincinnati, Ohio Reds.
You have to move to Cincinnati, play in that weather where it's going to be hot and then it's going to be cold, and you move from L.A.
Yes, senor, no.
L.A. is just nice all the time, pretty much, and is more to do. I mean,
that honestly, that trade came out of nowhere. I did not expect them to get rid of Puig.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to be there for life.
How many games will we get into this season until Puig has a blow up on the field where he gets maybe suspended by the team for calling out a coach or not running the bases, like something, personality, attitude?
I say 35 games.
Yeah, that team's not going to be good. So he's going to a bad team in
well,
the
I mean,
Midwest.
they have Sonny Gray now as well, so it's like
back.
It's like the failed experiment team.
Yeah, so they're not going to be good. He's going to be playing in the Midwest. It's going to be miserable. He's going to wish every day that he was back in L.A.
When people heard about that trade, they thought it was to go after Harper. But Harper doesn't look like he's going there.
Let's talk about a couple other names. Markakis returns to the Braves on a 1-year deal. I think that's a good play. Like, he was good last year. They keep
They're probably going to win the NL East again.
As Drupal Cabrera signs to the Rangers, it looks like he'll be replacing Adrian Beltre, as the plan is to play him at third base. It's a 1-year deal.
Have fun living up to that.
He batted .262 with 23 homers and 75 RBIs.
I'm not talking about stats. Just the legendary, the legend of Adrian Beltre. You're going to be in the same position. It's going to be people are not going to fond of that. They're like, ugh. They're going to get their. They're not going to like it.
And then last question of the day. Will Harper or Machado sign before spring training?
God, I hope so. It's like a hostage crisis, Like we're in day 200 of this stuff, and we're like, is this ever gonna happen? Are we ever gonna get them out? Are we ever gonna pay the ransom? Are we ever gonna get them into a team?
Yeah, it's been kind of quiet regarding that, so we'll see what happens.
Do you think they're milking it for all it's worth, trying to get more money out of it, or do you think it's just one of those things that just baseball is just a lot slower in the free agent market than
they're just trying to wait for? I think both of them are just they probably know which team they want to sign with and what deal they want to take, but they're waiting for a team to maybe make like a huge offer, like
counter
offer. Like the Yankees to come in and be like, all right, $300 million.
Supposedly Machado has a quote mystery bidder So
Yeah.
who knows who that's going to be? Some people, Machado's,
hopefully we'll know by
Machado's
next
father
week.
said it was the Dodgers, but who knows who actually is this mystery? And why isn't a mystery bitter? Like, why is this now turning into a soap opera? This doesn't make any sense.
But we'll discuss it next week.
Yeah, I guess so. Hopefully we have something to talk about when it comes to that kind of stuff. But thank you so much for joining us. Please tune us in later today for our soccer podcast. And tomorrow we do our classic sports, football, and basketball podcast. And as always, I'm Jeff Malinoff. That's Mark Souza. And we will see you next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.